hit the road not that long ago. We're gonna go get an engine for the Jeep. Now, there might not be an actual running 12 valve, but it's a fully complete. It's been sitting for a little while. Just by pictures, it looks like a non-intercooled 12 valve, but fully complete. One heck of a deal on it. So it's about an hour drive to where we have to go to get it, but for the price, it's gonna be well worth it. Hopefully, all I have to do is throw a little ATF and it'll spin over, because it's been sitting for a little while. The rings are probably just stuck where they're at. But you throw a little ATF, it hopefully should make everything good to go. But rolling in the Cummins, I'll give you guys an update in a little bit. Alright guys, sorry I wasn't filming a lot, just because long drive, get it. Didn't want to intrude with a camera. Pretty cool dude. But here is the beauty. Needs a little work. It doesn't turn over, but I think one of the things is it's probably been sitting for a little while, so the rings are just kind of stuck into place. I might not do it today. Actually, I'll probably do it later. Once we get it off and get it into the container. So, because it might rain, it might not. Who knows? Lately, it's just wasn't supposed to rain and it rains. But full accessory, AC compressor, which that's gonna come off. This will probably stay on here. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna have to figure this out. This might have to go to a different spot. Might keep this, but my only problem is, this needs to go to a grooved pulley for me, just because this is gonna come down around the crankshaft, and then up and around this to this. So this has to be a grooved pulley. I gotta figure that out, or figure out a possible different routing. Not 100% for sure, but it did have a little bit of a turbo failure, but it barely ate anything, so I don't think that's the problem. It might have had an oiling issue, but the price I got this thing for, I'm not gonna complain. Especially this VE pump has been rebuilt, has a fresh paint on it, a lot of fresh marks. So right there, it just tells me that's a good thing. And I have extra parts, so it's not a big deal if I need to, let's say, rebuild this. Because if I need a block, I'll use my 24 valve block out of the farm truck for the Jeep. I have another head that should be good, but this head should be just fine. But I wish I had my bore scope, but still haven't bought another one after the last one walked away. But the plan is here in a little bit, we're gonna get this off of the truck in the container. I'm gonna pull all the injectors out, just kind of see what they look like, see if there's any rust or anything weird on them, and then going to put some ATF in all 6 cylinders and just let it sit overnight. And then tomorrow evening we'll jump back in and see if it'll turn over after I get an actual bar. I think he may have been trying to bar it over something not that small, but who knows. But for the deal I got, all the injectors and lines, looks like pretty much a brand new pump, or reman pump, vacuum pump, hydro booster, all that stuff, power steering pump. In theory, if I can get it to crank over, like get it freed up, like the rings are stuck, it has a mechanical fuel pump on it, the factory one, so I can just run a hose from that to the to a fuel tank with diesel in it and bench fire it up. But we'll see. When we get into it, I will bring you guys along, but it's time for dinner. I'm hungry. Haven't eaten pretty much almost all day, so it loosened up a little bit. I said it moved.
Not much.
Yeah, but like I said, the turbo was keeping it put, probably. Who knows? Killer deal for all that I got, even if I need to rebuild the lower end. because finding a lot of this stuff to build one that's missing a bunch of this stuff is kind of hard to find. So not hard to find, it's just expensive. So I'd spend way more getting all the stuff to finish rebuilding said said block that I had, and everything that's sitting in the Jeep as a mock-up block. It'd be way more expensive to have that machined out, weigh out, and do all that stuff, and buy all the things I need, like front cover and a bunch of other stuff for it. This is way cheaper. So even if I have to take 3 different engines and put them together, it'll be pretty well golden. Alright guys, it is the next day in the afternoon after work. So change a little bit of plan. We're actually going to just yank the head off of it. It's just gonna be quick. I'm not gonna try to disconnect everything perfectly. I'm literally gonna disconnect as little as I can to rip the cylinder head off. But another things, I got this charger that's my buddy's that has a slight overheating problem. But so with a slight head gasket issue, he just said screw it, we're gonna put a cam in it. Well, not we, me. Still waiting on the cam stuff come in, but I already grabbed the car from him. But hit this door, but I don't think it's gonna remote start because it has long tubes and everything on it. But sit you guys down real quick. Nothing fancy, it's loud, long tubes, loud, but for you a little nice little before and after. But that will be on the channel at some point here shortly once I start getting parts. I do got to tear it down so I can send the heads off and everything, get ported and everything. He got the guy that's gonna do it for him, but it's one of those, I gotta wait for the cam kit to come in, because once I get all that I gotta round all of it up and get it all taken care of and sent in. But I'm gonna grab this. This is my brother hoarding all my tools and stuff. Some of the stuff has been in there that probably he took and didn't bring it back, but we're gonna need this. So I should have filmed how we had to get this thing in here, because we kind of failed on our approach angle to back the truck up, and it was interesting. But so right here, how it's a different color. So that's a known 12 block or 12 valve issue for the most part. It looks like it's been leaking for a little while now. When they lose head gaskets, they can leak externally. Just on even the Cummins. Cummins can do that in general. Regular vehicles can too, but more common on 12 valves. This thing was set up non-intercooled, but like I was saying, like it lost a turbo. It's like it doesn't even move. But there's metal down in there, and the one thing that's concerning that I'm just gonna yank the head off is, I think my brother wiped them off though. We pulled, well, that's not supposed to happen either. Well, these aren't necessarily supposed to come out when you shake them around. But I've got newer injectors that were in my brother's truck, so they'll go in here. So injectors I'm not worried about. They look factory. They look like anything. These are 5x12s. Huh. Okay, so these are non-stock injectors. That's why they're having issues. But I already gnarred up the threads and stuff, getting them out. But that's what I care about that. But what we're gonna do is just gonna pull some of these brackets off real quick. I'm not gonna bore you guys about pulling some of the stuff off. I'm just gonna get most of this kind of torn down, get some of this stuff off that all I have to do is undo all the bolts and then just
me and my brother are gonna pick it up and slide it out this way, so I don't have to really worry about. I might take the lines off, I might not. Who knows? We'll find out. I kind of don't want to destroy these ones because, like I said, if worst case scenario, this block was worth the money I spent, just because all the accessories on it, all the belts and stuff like that, pulleys, I can use. This pump that looks fairly new, fairly remanned, like recently, or at least at some point. I can take that, the lines, I have injectors, and all that stuff. I have a block back there, that's good. I might have another 12 valve head. This one should be just perfectly fine. But I have enough stuff I can round up that I can just build a block, build a whole motor out of 3 different motors. One might have a 24 valve block on it, but if I need to go that route, I'll use my 24 valve block. But the plan for that one is 24 valve block, 12 valve head, P pump, like big P pump, big injectors, big turbo, nitrous in the farm truck. But if I need to scavenge it for temporarily or for right now for the Jeep, I will, because the truck's not on my big priority list. It's mainly the Jeep that's on my priority list to try to get done. This is a big step towards it. So it's going to need an oil pan, but Dorman makes a good one that is cheap, so I'm not worried about it because it was a little dented, so I'm like, screw it. But let me get some stuff off of this one, and I'll give you an update here right before we pull the head off. Alright, just quick reference, this is 4-foot snap-on breaker bar. These were loose, but when I tightened them up, they should spin. There should be no... I'm just tightening the bolts. So there's something wrong with this, but like I said, we're going to go through and I'm already getting all this stuff off. I got these. I'll be able to snake this head up and out, so it won't be an issue. As long as I get a little tweak, there won't be that big of an issue. I'm not too terribly worried about it, but get that off real quick, and then bracket, and this head should come right off here probably about 15 minutes. What's really concerning is look how dirty these things are. These push rods. You can also tell by the valley that they're not. This engine was not. One has high miles. 2 was not very well maintained. Even if it had high miles, you could have done something, and those will probably get cleaned, probably get replaced. More than likely, I'll buy a high-level set. These are actually, I don't know if these are enough or not. Yeah, that got a bunch of gunk on it. This has 5x12s in it.
Really?
Yeah, I read one of the injectors says 5x12s, but they're kind of toast because the little inlet that sits in here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not this one. Oh no, I got stuck in there, but yeah. And another one. 5x12s. I don't know what to make though.
12 sacks, yeah. I'll be doing.
So it's gonna be the breaking the cylinder head loose. Let go with that. It'll rip itself off. We got 200 plus pound head. See anything? Don't tell me because I want to see for myself. Okay. But help me with the fucking silver head.
So, there we go. let's actually just when you go to look at it, look at that cylinder.
Alright, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm confused. Well, here's... head gasket was peeking from right here. But... why is it all...
It ingested something plasticky. Had to have.
So... because that's like... but I'm... this looks like a fresher head gasket, right? It
No,
is.
it's old.
It's old?
Yeah, that's old.
Oh, okay.
That's...
oh yeah, it's been there through by this.
yeah.
Let's build up.
Yeah, that's been there a minute. But no, so the stuff on the bottom of that, this thing ate.
Yeah, plastic. Feels... had to be something high temp, like high temp RTV or ate a seal or something like that.
Yeah. Or air food. But yeah, it's definitely rust in the cylinders is why it's sitting.
Yeah, so it's not this right here.
Yeah, go 20.
So my hope is these are these marine pistons or are these? Can you tell?
These are more 45s.
So these are regular pistons.
Well, actually, hold on. Let me go. Car unlocked? No, go that way. It's messy.
Card unlocked.
I'm sure they're the same.
Yeah, I'll get a micrometer for that. All right, so they are 120s or whatever it is, the non-marine pistons, because so that, probably what was some of the demise of this engine is it is very, very hard on these pistons. If this engine is if it's run in a non-intercooled position, so this is an intercooled motor. They put it in a vehicle, in a Chevy, and they ran it non-intercooled. So I don't know, I don't really know what this plastic crap is, but these rings are just kind of stuck. But this block has gotten hot. Like, I don't know if you can really tell, but it's been a little toasty and looks a little rusty, but like this sludge, this block will be the block for the farm truck. It has been decided with this factor. This block is going in the farm truck because I'm going 12 valve, big P pump, big injector, big turbo nitrous. That's the plan. I may or may not get to that at the rate I want to, but with this, this will get the Jeep going. The 24 valve block will be perfect because it is ready to go. All I have to do is get main studs, rod bearings, if these pistons are good, and rings. These pistons, double check the bore, they'll go straight into there, because they're pretty much the same thing besides a couple little differences. Don't hold me to that. They're a little different, but this will be the better block for the farm truck because it has bigger main studs and it will be easier to girdle than the 24 valve block, which has not as big main studs. This has smaller head bolts than the 24 valve. They're opposite for whatever reason. I don't know why. But this block will become the block for the farm truck because look at this is sludge and it's so I don't know what, like there's like plastic melted to this cylinder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get ATF. I'm gonna put ATF in all 6 cylinders and coat this block essentially. Really, that's all I need to go for today. I really want to just knock the head off, kind of make an update video because I've been super busy. I've also gotten sick, but I haven't uploaded in a while, and things are changing rapidly. But this block, like I said, if it had any issues like this, it's still worth its weight in parts because see how nice and clean painted this VE is? That's perfect. I got a VE, I got lines. I don't really need the injectors. The injectors were not the fun. I'm putting hot 5x14s in it with the big turbo. So, and it's gonna be water air cooled, so it will have an air cooler. But I was hoping, I was crossing my fingers that I wouldn't have to really do too much besides a head gasket. But with whatever the weird, this is a 12 valve head gasket. This one got crushed a little weird in shipping or something like that. So my brother didn't run it. We might try to run it. It's like bent in a weird way. I don't know, I'm gonna ask my machine shop guy. But this head will need to be deconstructed in the next couple days and sent to the machine shop to get cleaned and everything, because they're all firing pretty good except for that one. Like, it's, I'm gonna try not to crush myself, but like it's weird, really weird. But other than that, this thing doesn't look like it has any issues, but we don't know. I'm hoping this head does not have any cracking issues, because you can tell right here is where the head gasket kind of let go, right around here. So not too worried about it. I'll get this torn down into the machine shop. Only bad thing is the machine shop I use is, so I live on one side of a big old town. He's on the other side and then farther out. So I may actually take it to him tomorrow, actually. I may bust this thing down tonight. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I need to figure out my buddy's going to, so my local track is Alamo City Raceway, and the machine shop that me and my brother use is pretty much right down the road from them. So I'm thinking, and my buddy's gonna go do the truck night race that they're doing tomorrow. I'm gonna yank this thing out completely apart. I'll take it to work with me, and then I'll hoof out there. I'll leave early tomorrow, hoof out there, drop it off, and then hopefully everything's good with it. It's probably gonna cost me a couple $100, but is what it is. But this is pretty much where I'm gonna cut it for now. We'll go to part 2 and tearing this motor down and kind of getting ready for the 24 valve and all that stuff, and then also getting the charger prepped and ready to tear down. A lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't tear it down in kind of the open area. Tearing the motor down in the open isn't that big of a deal. I have stuff to kind of keep it from like anti-rust, pretty much oil and stuff like that, that will keep it from rusting, keep everything from not getting any bad. And I'll go through with a very fine grit, emery cloth / steel wool, to make sure there's no surface rust when I go put the heads back on. But we'll go over that at a later date when we go to start working on that. So there will be a charger cam, little mini series is pretty much what it is. It's gonna be a multi-part video, just like this. This is the first part, long, but say a big step to having a running drivetrain or running engine in the Jeep. I still have to fix the axles of the Jeep and bring it over, but the charger is gonna get done first, just because that charger is funding the Jeep. So the charger needs to be done and dealt with before this can go any further. On rainy days, I can actually, I'm getting ready to buy some LED lights for the inside of this, so on rainy days I can come in here and work on this stuff and be fine. But the charger is on the main thing that should be in the next couple of days. Gonna start tearing that down, like I said, because I have to get the heads from my buddy with the cam kit, because there's valve springs, valve retainers, valve seals, and a bunch of stuff that needs to go with it to the machine shop that he's taking it to get it poured and polished and all that good stuff. But other than that, this is where we're gonna leave you off. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, dislike, comments. Subscribing helps grow the channel, which will hopefully in the long run, this will be what I want to do, but for now it's just a hobby, and I'm bringing you guys along for my wacky projects. Unique project at the most. Some of this stuff is normal, you'll see it on a different channel. It's different channels that people have, but other than that, catch you guys later. Have a good one, and see you until next time.